Yuki Tsunoda's weekend at Imola is one he'll want to put behind him quickly. Despite somehow salvaging a points finish after starting from the pit lane, the Japanese driver's race was overshadowed by a massive crash, his second heavy incident of the season after Jeddah. Thankfully, he walked away unscathed, but the damage to the car has sent alarm bells ringing at Red Bull. With repair costs continuing to pile up and Helmut Marko's recent comments adding fuel to the fire, the pressure on Tsunoda has ramped up significantly. Could we be heading toward yet another driver swap at Red Bull just 5 races into the season? The second seat at Red Bull has always been a hot topic, but now it's become a real concern. Tsunoda's promotion to the senior team was a bold move, and so far the results have been mixed at best. After 5 Grand Prix, the question is no longer just about performance. It's about cost, consistency, and whether he's the right fit for a team fighting for both the drivers' and constructors' championships. Imola marked another costly mistake, and at a time when Red Bull desperately needs every penny to go toward upgrades, especially with the championship battle tightening, these incidents couldn't come at a worse moment. Verstappen has now cut the gap to Piastri down to 10 points and trails Norris by just 7. The race for his 5th consecutive title is alive and well, but it's clear he won't be able to do it alone. Just like in 2021, when Sergio Perez played a critical support role, Verstappen may once again need backup from his teammate. The big question now is, can Tsunoda step up and deliver when it matters most? Or is Red Bull already preparing for another change? One that could reshape the entire dynamic of the team heading into the heart of the season? And perhaps the more important question, who is actually the best driver to put alongside Max Verstappen in a high-pressure title fight? Despite a few flashes of speed, Yuki Tsunoda is increasingly proving to be a less-than-ideal choice for Red Bull's second seat. The team's situation is becoming more precarious with each passing weekend. While Max Verstappen has managed to keep Red Bull in contention against both McLaren drivers through sheer brilliance, the team can't afford to rely solely on his heroics much longer. To stay competitive in both championships, Red Bull must invest heavily in car development, not in repairing damage. That requires both cars finishing sessions intact, something Tsunoda has struggled with this year. The growing financial strain from repeated crashes is beginning to bite, particularly as the team looks to fund critical upgrades during a pivotal stretch of the season. Imola was a turning point. With Verstappen finally feeling more confident in the car thanks to the latest round of upgrades, Red Bull found itself in an uncomfortable bind, boosted by progress on one side of the garage, but undermined by costly setbacks on the other. Helmut Marko did not mince words when addressing Tsunoda's latest incident. While grateful that the driver walked away unharmed, Marko emphasized the gravity of the situation. These kinds of crashes need to stop. Urgently, he warned. With 3 back-to-back races ahead, including the unforgiving streets of Monaco, Red Bull's spare parts inventory is nearing a breaking point. It's a serious setback, Marko admitted. You can't afford mistakes in Monaco. We'll continue to support Yuki, but the situation is becoming critical. While Marko previously stated Tsunoda's seat was safe until the end of the season, the events at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix may be enough to change that stance. And Red Bull isn't short of alternatives. One such contender is Isack Hadjar, who has quietly been making a name for himself in the RB Junior team. The young Frenchman qualified in Q3 and scored an impressive P9 at the Emirates Grand Prix, despite a safety car scenario that worked against him. He now has 7 points to his name and, more importantly, has shown the composure and consistency Red Bull is looking for. Interestingly, Marko, who was critical of Hadjar after a rough debut in Australia, has since changed his tune. Hadjar is the revelation of this first part of the championship, he recently said. Despite not knowing many of the tracks, he's been fast from the beginning and has made very few mistakes. Marko also praised Hadjar's racecraft, tire management, and calm under pressure, traits rarely seen in a rookie. But Hadjar isn't the only name in Red Bull's future plans. Rising star Arvid Lindblad, currently making waves in Formula 2, is already turning heads as the youngest F2 race winner in history. With Lindblad's meteoric rise and long-term potential, Red Bull may soon find itself needing to make room, not just for performance reasons, but for the future of the program itself. The pressure is mounting. If Red Bull wants to stay ahead in the high-stakes fight for titles and continue grooming the next generation of talent, tough decisions may come sooner than expected. It's becoming clear someone at Red Bull is going to have to make way. Before Imola, the general consensus was that Liam Lawson was the weakest link in the Red Bull talent pool, and rightfully so, based on his limited F1 experience and lack of seat time. But now, with Yuki Tsunoda's repeated crashes adding up, the spotlight is turning in a very different direction. And it's not one Yuki will welcome. While Isack Hadjar continues to impress, scoring points, making Q3 appearances, and adapting quickly, Tsunoda's costly errors are placing his future in serious jeopardy. And with Arvid Lindblad shining in Formula 2, the question isn't if Red Bull will need to make room for these young stars. It's who they'll have to drop to make that happen. The situation is even more complex, now that Honda's influence is fading. Despite Tsunoda's public insistence that the Japanese manufacturer's involvement, or lack thereof, has no bearing on his seat, the truth is hard to ignore. Without Honda's backing, Tsunoda might not have lasted as long as he has. And now that Honda is preparing to walk away from the Red Bull camp, the shield that once protected Tsunoda is gone. What's even more telling? Red Bull has no intention of demoting Yuki back to Racing Bulls. After 5 seasons in the junior outfit, that door is closed. This is a make-or-break situation. Either he stays as Verstappen's teammate in 2026, something that's looking less and less likely, or he exits the Red Bull system entirely. And even Max Verstappen's future, uncertain as it may seem, won't change that equation. Hadjar's rapid improvement and consistent results since Tsunoda left Racing Bulls are making a strong case. He's doing exactly what a junior driver should, capitalizing on opportunity and delivering under pressure. Meanwhile, Lindblad continues to push the envelope in F2, and it's only a matter of time before Red Bull needs to promote him to F1. And let's not forget the most basic math. 3 drivers don't fit into 2 seats. So what does this mean for Tsunoda? Right now, things look bleak. Lawson, once seen as the odd man out, is suddenly looking far more secure. The Kiwi is biding his time, watching as his former teammate struggles to deliver top 10 results, and racks up costly shunts instead. With those crashes in Jeddah and Imola, Tsunoda's relevance inside the Red Bull camp is quickly fading. Carlos Sainz, who was once floated as a possible Red Bull returnee, has also shown signs of cracking under pressure this season. Verstappen himself addressed this dynamic directly, saying, "In racing and in life, when you start to second-guess yourself, that's when things go wrong. You need full commitment, especially at a place like this." It's a mentality Red Bull values, and it's becoming clear that they're applying that same judgment to Tsunoda. Even Jacques Villeneuve weighed in after Tsunoda's crash at Imola, suggesting that a second Red Bull driver change this season is no longer out of the question. It's not something Red Bull wants to do, but when the second driver isn't fulfilling his role, change becomes inevitable. Tsunoda, for his part, claims his Imola crash wasn't due to internal pressure. "The team is doing everything to ease that pressure," he said. "I just tried to be a hero in Q1. Maybe too much. I made big changes to the car and didn't fully know how it would react." But even he acknowledged, that's not an excuse that works anymore. With all of this in mind, the future is murky for Yuki Tsunoda. Red Bull is staring down a crossroads. Talented rookies on the rise, a budget that can't afford crashes, and a team culture built on ruthless competitiveness. So we want to hear from you. Should Red Bull commit to a second driver change after Imola? And more importantly, who deserves that second seat next to Max in 2026? Comments below. And once you're done, don't forget to click on the video that's popping up on your screen right now. And don't forget to subscribe my channel.